Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our virtual reality, which for over a year now has been the music room of our home, the Cantor in my home. And this is actually the very last time that we will be offering our Zoom services in our home, because next Friday night we return to our sanctuary, where you will be able to come in person, which is very, very wonderful and a true blessing. We will still be offering it on YouTube, and we'll see whether or not we're going to be able to still offer Zoom, and we'll let you all know that. But for now, this is a special time, and we ask and invite God to join us in this very sacred holy space as we continue with bringing light into our homes through our candle blessing. And I'd like to invite Holly Del Valle, who is sponsoring our Onik this evening in honor of her husband, John Del Valle, in memory of him, since tonight is his yurtzeit. And so, Holly, if you would please lead us in our candle blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel, it's not Yom Tov, is it? Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Yes, dear Holly, our holiday of Shavuot is this Monday.
And Yom Tov belongs with that?
Correct.
Thank you very much. I learn something every day.
So do I. Thank you.
And we have a service on Monday.
Yes, a service on Monday morning to celebrate Shavuot.
At 11 o'clock.
All right. But today is Shabbat, so let's sing a Shabbat song. Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Asharet, Aleichem Elyon, Mimelech, Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Nohem L'Shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Shalom,
Shalom, Alechem, Yimelech, Malkeam Lakim, Akadosh Baruch.
And now we're going to continue with our call to worship. And for those of you who are comfortable, you can rise. And please do remember to mute yourself. I do hear some peripheral noise. I think maybe a couple of you have your microphones live. So please do mute yourself and join us in the Baruch Hu.
Baruch et Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Amahari Varavi. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me, did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Emet. It is true. Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders. Hali leads us in our Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedor b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osef aleh, Norah tehilot osef aleh, Malachutecha Rahuvanacha Bokeh Ayam Lipnei Moshe Miriam Zehili Anu Ve'ameru Adonai Imloch Adonai Imloch Le'olam Abad.
People of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. If you are comfortable, please rise and join us in our tefillah.
Adonai shafatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, let my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sahara, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ahel Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora, Elyon, Gamel Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh Hakol, וזוכר הסתיוות והאימהות, ומבגולה לבני בניהם למען שמה באהבה. מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע.
מוריד הטל, מקלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני ההר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי לא מלך, מלך ממית ומקיים ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמר אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהלוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please be seated.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא, אשר ברא, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant us our heritage, your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Amen. And now, dear friends, I have something a little new for you to experience if you're able to. For those of you who know how to get onto the chat room, where at the bottom of your screen you click on chat and you're able to enter something and write something that I can then share with everybody. I'd like you to think of something that you feel particularly thankful for this week and share it with me in your chat room, and I will share it with everyone else. So for those of you who are comfortable doing that, please do. Wendy Wagner said, I am thankful to be here with all of you. Anyone else like to share something?
I am thankful to still be here with all of you.
Yes. Lynn Hurt said to everyone, I'm thankful for my mother's health. She is almost 96, and for my own health. Gail Zismoine said, Dave and I are thankful for our love and marriage. Oh, how beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Glenda Gibbons, you have your hand raised. Holly says, Holly is grateful for our family and friends. Harold Simmons says, we are thankful for our grandchildren. And Maura Sue shared, I'm thankful for my 7 beautiful grandchildren. 7 grandchildren. That's just wonderful. And I will share with all of you that I'm grateful to be able to be with you tonight. It means it's very special to me, and I'm grateful that that the pandemic in our country is gradually being cured, and that we are, well, it's never really going to be cured, but where we can, for those of us who've been vaccinated, can take our masks off, which is a real blessing. Patrick Arnold says to everyone, I am thankful for where I am and who I am with this evening. Thank you, Patrick.
Patrick, well,
And
thank you.
Alan and Rose and Alan Schoenfeld said, Alan and I are thankful to celebrate our 40th anniversary next week. Oh, what a blessing. Mazel tov to you. This is so wonderful. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts with everybody. You're just really special. And now a blessing for peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tachim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tachim Leolam. Yatahu melech Aron lechol hashalom v'tov b'neka levarek et amha Yisrael b'chol leit ובכל שעה בשלומך שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. It helps us to hold peace in our hearts, which is so hard now with everything that's happening in our world. But now we turn our attention to those who are suffering of body, mind, or spirit, and we pray for refuah shalema for all of their ills. We think most particularly tonight of Sharon Arnold and Bob Ashendorf, Sylvia Askenazi, Bill Baer and Henry Botuck, Karen Chamblis, Rispa Corley, Stacy Eastwood, Eve Alfasi, Deborah Goldstein, Nicole Greenblatt, Celia Grossman, Irwin Hale, Glenda Heller, David Kay, Evelyn Crane, Robert Kraling, Diana Landau, Lori Licker, Hillary Miles, Matthew Murin, Betty Navarrete, Rika Pianek and Vladimiro Pianek, Stuart Rossinger, Pam Siegel and Patty Siegel, Kelsey Sieber, Jessica Scott, Jessica and Scott Smith, Erin Jane Spear, Carly, Harvey Jed, Michelle, and Susan Tauber, Sarah Jane Victor, Arthur Weinberger, Doris Weintraub, Jody Wellner. And for those of you who have other names you want to share, you can either put them in the chat or call them out loud.
Laura Del Valle.
Laura Del Valle. We invite our beloved Holly to lead us in our Misha Berach prayer.
Misha Bera Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Lehimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor bracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Holly, dear. That was beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful as always. And so, what a week this has been, dear friends. I'm so grateful, as I said, that we now have new guidelines from the CDC for wearing masks. Our Temple Israel COVID-19 task force will be issuing new guidelines for our temple very soon. And for those of you who came into our service late and didn't hear this will actually be our last Zoom service from my house. Our Fireside Kabbalat Shabbat service that we started over a year ago here. And it's helped us still to be able to join in a community together. And we're very grateful for that. So we will be broadcasting starting next week from our new sanctuary in our beautiful new temple building. And you will still be able to attend virtually if that is better for you, if you live at a distance or can't come in the evening to our temple. But we do encourage all of you who can to come and join us live so we can get back to a sense of normalcy once again within our lives, our temple family. There will be more information going out about that within the next couple of days. It's a very fast-moving train, and we're trying to keep up with it. So that's all good news, and thank God for it. Of course, there is bad news too, and that is the subject of my musings with you tonight. But there is hope as well. Our beloved land of Israel is embroiled in violence and what looks like another war. Yesterday, I attended a very important meeting of over 500 rabbis and leaders of the Jewish progressive movements in Israel. They offered real-time information, a perspective on the situation and how it festered and grew into what it is today. This is what I will share with you tonight. First of all, a member of the Knesset, Gilad Kariv, spoke with a cogent personal analysis of the situation. He spoke of the military operation and the massive rocket attacks by Hamas on the cities of Israel. He called this a serious risk since the rockets can now reach and threaten most cities in Israel. And it has been 7 years since 2014 that this kind of barrage has occurred. So for the past 7 years, they've been building up their store of rockets, which are being supplied by Hezbollah and the Iranians, and who knows who else. He said that one of the reasons Hamas is engaged in this manner is to undermine the status of the Palestinian authorities and is an attempt to drag into the fray the Israeli Arabs, the Arabs who live in Israel and are citizens of Israel. He stressed that most of the mixed cities, he called them, where there are many Arab and Jews living side by side, these people are not involved in this internal bloodshed. More about this later. But there are a small group of extremists on both sides, Arabs and Jews, that are committing the violent acts within the state of Israel itself. Most illuminating to me was his assessment of the failures of the current government to address the situation. With great frustration, he pointed out the rise of extreme ultra-nationalist Israeli and Arab groups. He said that the weakness of civil services, serious pockets of poverty and social distress for Israeli, Arabs, and Jews that have caused a sense of great frustration and have allowed these groups to fester and grow. And then thirdly, he mentioned the pandemic, of course, which its fear, the fright that it was caused for all peoples, and the fact that many arms of the civil service were paralyzed during this pandemic. But he calls that an executive weakness, pointing to the government itself for not providing what was needed to help the situation at the time. To me, that sounds very familiar for all of us who are dealing with the very same issues in our own country. Some of the shared personal stories were the most distressing that I heard. Seeing synagogues torched, the terrified innocent people running to bomb shelters with sirens blaring every 10 minutes, the innocents that were killed when IDF forces bombed the Gaza Strip, and now they have actually gone in on the ground. Some of the biggest challenges were expressed by Rabbi Cohen Kedem. How do they not fall into the pit of racism? How do they not lose their compassion while they're being bombed? The midrash that we often tell on Pesach about the angels rejoicing when they saw the Egyptians falling into the sea, and then God saying, "But my people are drowning and you are singing." One should never gloat over the smashing of your enemy. She said the situation is so complex and the people of her community are so afraid. Rabbi Yael Vorgan serves a Reform congregation in what is referred to as the Gaza envelope. This is an area that's very close to the Gaza border. And she serves a Reform congregation there. She laments that the wheat fields are all on fire, so close to Shavuot and the wheat harvest. She told us that people harvested early in order to save some of the wheat. The noise from the bombs that is deafening, the schools closed, and the sirens that are occurring every 10 minutes on into the night. Yet she also expressed great encouragement. She observed that many people in her community do not rejoice in the bombing of the Gaza Strip. To her and to those people, this is not a solution. Even with all the difficulties they're experiencing, personally, they feel great compassion for the other side. One congregant sent her a poem he wrote that mused on the words Tilim and Milim. Tilim is the Hebrew word for missiles. Milim is the Hebrew word for words. So in his poem, he said, how can we replace Tilim for Milim and strive for a long-term solution through words and not missiles? This is the prayer of people living right by the Gaza Strip. Finally, I want to share with you this note of great hope as well, and one that is usually not shown on our media, unfortunately. I learned of it yesterday and was heartened to see an article about it this morning in the Forward magazine. There has been a joint statement by the mayors of many of the Arab villages and Jewish towns throughout the state of Israel asking for peace. They say enough is enough, and even gathered together yesterday on the Hamed Bridge near Abu Ghosh, just outside of Jerusalem, as well as in several other cities. As Laura Ben David wrote in her article in the foreword, quote, hundreds of Jews and Arabs from the surrounding villages came together with music, dancing, flags, and flowers, all to show that we refuse to hate one another. Wendy, please share this picture of the Arab and Jewish Israelis all together with our community tonight, and see their faces and know that this is what the people want. The violent extremists do not want this, but the people want this. And perhaps it is these people who will find a way to fix the broken parts of our beloved Israel. May God spread over all people of Israel, those in every Arab and Jewish village and city throughout the whole land, all peoples, a sukkah of peace.
Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Amo Yisrael.
Beautiful. Thank you all so much. Thank you. And Mora Sue said that she read one of the signs in Hebrew that said, love your neighbor as yourself. Thank you. And so we're almost to Mount Sinai. We're on day 48 of trekking through the wilderness, counting our Omer. Our scouts have gone on ahead, and they see it in the distance. Tonight's reflections on Yesod Sheba Malchut Shekhinah, which means our foundation within the indwelling presence of God and the Shekhinah. So what is our foundation? Well, within our own individual selves, it's associated with our egos. Egos are necessary for us to live within this world. Our egos are the link between God and this world. Our ego can help us to stand firm in this world, bringing our own point of view of life and living into our world with wisdom and vision. But there can be a dark side to our egos. An ego out of balance or not aware of the divine spirit within can wield great destruction within our world. It is the foundation of our teachings that can help us to rein in a feisty, out of control ego. The ego needs to bend with the winds of change and be able to access the strength of the indwelling presence of the God within us to accomplish its goals. So I have an image from this particular counting tonight of the beautiful chuppah in our temple. Remember how we had it set up by the door, and it's set up again in our new building. The beautiful chuppah, it's placed in the doorway, and for every worship service, people can walk under its talit that is stretched out overhead. There are no walls, only a roof that speaks of the foundation of our belief, the talit. A chuppah at a wedding is symbolic of the couple's home together. Within our sanctuary, it represents our temple home and the open sides that show our desire to be open and an open, loving congregation. Our ego, our congregation's ego, can learn a lesson from the chuppah. We can be flexible and strong, yet we can be open, also protected as we cling to our Holy One of all blessings. This is Yesod Sheba Malchut Shekhinah. So together we join in our Omer blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer. Blessed are you, God, source of all. You make us holy through your mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom shemuna ve'arba'im yom shehem shisha shavuot v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is 48 days, which is 6 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. And a little bit of wisdom. First, improve yourself, then improve others. That's from our Talmud. Amen. And now we continue with our concluding prayers, our Aleinu. If you are comfortable, please rise and join us.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Oh, yes, may that day come soon. And now I turn to those of us who are no longer with us, and we reflect on the beautiful words and melody of Yesh Kochavim that Holly will share with us.
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light. Long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest nights, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember.
We now think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. In the period of Shiddushim, the first 30 days of mourning, Benjamin Benji Ezekiel, uncle of Johannes Corley, and Hyman Matzah, cousin of Joel Ashkenazi. And those who died at this season in years past, in beloved memory, David M. Alpert, John Del Valle, Morris Fishkin, R.P. Kessler, William Miller, Ignaz Rosinger, Linda Seawall, and Abraham Weisberg. If there are other names of loved ones that you are remembering at this time, please share them with us.
Casper.
Yes, beloved Casper, the pet of our Debbie, who she lost this week. Anyone else have a loved one they're remembering today that I didn't mention?
Yes, my niece, Rivka Waymanen.
Rivka Waymanen,
Yes.
our condolences to you. Lynn Hertz.
Yes, two cousins who died this season in the past, Ella Pfifferling and Ludda Hertz. And I have a cousin who died last week, Judy Weingart.
Oh, I'm so deeply sorry for your loss.
And my grandmother, Dora Rice, and my uncle, Merton Rice.
Thank you, Glenda. Our condolences to all of you.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? No, okay. Zikra Nam Livracha. Of course, we remember all those as well who have died around our world from COVID-19. May their memories all be for a blessing. As we join together in our mourner's Kaddish, if you're comfortable, please rise and join me. Yitgadal v'yitgadash me Rabbah, be'alma divarach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayeh dekol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata dam yelan be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehe shalom araba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, huya ase shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen.
Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen.
Thank you all. So beautiful. Well, I want to thank all of you for participating tonight so beautifully in our service. Wendy, who had a lot of problems with getting into internet, and she had to go to another location. So we're very grateful to you, Wendy, that you were with us. And of course, the Cantor for all of his beautiful singing, most especially Vishamru. Will you tell us about the Vishamru?
I created the Vashamru, and that's it was just something I was going to try out on all of you tonight.
It was very beautiful, and we want to hear it again.
Oh, you will.
And I want to thank all of you also for being so patient on Zoom this past year. You know, it has afforded us certain things that we actually can't do when we're together in person. And it's taught us a lot, and we're very grateful for the technology, even though there were many times it was very frustrating, I know, but you all hung in there, and we're grateful for that. And so we're going to honor Holly Del Valle and her beloved husband John for our onig tonight, and we have our kiddush. Here you go.
Do you like
So-
the long kiddush, the short kiddush, or the medium kiddush?
Let's do, I don't know, what's the medium kiddush?
Well, there is no medium kiddush. That was a test.
Oh!
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Bore peri hagafen. Amen.
L'chaim, and that was the short kiddush.
Okay. And we do have our challah bread tonight. A beautiful raisin one, which will transform this weekend into the most delicious French toast. If you don't have one at home with you tonight, just put your finger on your screen and you can touch it.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Yaseh shalom. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al chol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Aleinu ve'al chol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, everyone.